YouTube, what is up? Welcome back to another video. If you are new to the channel, I always start my videos off after a little cinematic shots, just kind of welcoming the new viewers, because the algorithm is always going to push videos out there. And so if you're new to the channel, you might first be wondering who I am and why you should listen to me. And basically on this channel, I just talk about becoming better. It sounds very cliche. There's a lot of creators that talk about that, but it's basically from my experience of my life. So at one point in time, I had this like burning desire since I was a kid to make something of myself or become successful. And throughout the years, no matter that I kind of had these dreams, for whatever reason, I was a massive procrastinator. I was lazy. I wasn't hitting my fitness goals. I was wasting time, daily doing things that deep down my soul was kind of telling me that I shouldn't be doing. I should be focusing on these other things, but it was always the instantly gratifying things that I was pursuing. And so through many, many years, a lot of trial and error, a lot of ups and downs, I've essentially went from being someone who was a massive procrastinator, wasted days and days and probably thousands of hours on video games, to now someone who is living kind of like my dream life. I still have goals, I'm still pursuing things, but on this channel, I just talk about essentially how did I get to my dream life from being in like my anti-life. Like I used to go into a management job, which I worked my way up to, and I'll probably dive in a little bit deeper on the story because the whole concept of this video is no one's coming to save you, and I want to actually explain that. But when I was in my management job, it's like, I would go in, I'd have to iron up my clothes, like look really good because I was in a sales role. So I took pride in like how I dress, but I'm ironing my clothes every night or every morning. I'm wearing these like super fancy like button downs and collared shirts, and essentially I felt like I was wearing a mask every day. And some of you guys might can relate to that. It's like you are living this life that doesn't really align with who deep down you want to be. You just don't know how to get there. And so, I'm going into this job and presenting myself in, I'm not going to say like a fake way, just more of like my professional, kind of way. And I'm having to like get ready and iron my clothes and be all professional. And then what did I really want to be? I just wanted to be someone who's outside with my shirt off, like getting some sunlight, going down to the beach, like being barefooted, just kind of being, out in nature and just living how I feel like we were supposed to live, not just some, corporate, you guys get what I'm saying, under artificial lights all day, just in a box and just chasing money. I wanted to just live more, more of a holistic life. And so I look back, because I've been doing a lot of reflecting on, the direction of this channel and the type of content I'm going to bring you guys, because I've already talked so much on the daily disciplines, goal setting, all these things. I do think I need to keep hammering on them like I'm doing in this video, just going a little bit deeper. So that's really why I haven't uploaded in a couple weeks, is because I've really just been thinking like, what are some better insights I can give you guys who might have been where I was and want to be where I'm at now. So I went from this like anti-life to my dream life. And I did all this, guys, because I understood, and this took me a long time, so I'm never preaching from a pedestal or like I know it all or I'm this like disciplined guru. I just simply share the things that have helped me. And as you guys can see, I'm up on a Sunday at 4 o'clock in the morning about to go hit the gym, because I live by a routine now. And the crazy thing about a routine is that it's actually made me feel more free, because when I say no one's coming to save you, you have to understand that it's the truth. If you want to be somewhere and you are currently not there, literally the only way you're ever going to make it to where you want to be is by facing the resistance. So kind of like that negative pull back to your anti-life, or that negative pull that has you doing things that deep down you really don't want to do. You have to face that, and then you have to do the daily actions every single day. And so I was telling you guys I wanted to get a little bit deeper into my story, but for years and years, like back in my early 20s, I would see guys making videos sort of like this on YouTube, like fitness. I was very passionate about fitness. And so I was seeing these guys do that, and me being kind of like a natural entrepreneur since I was a kid. I was like, dude, that would be a cool business. If I could just like teach people how to work out, teach people how to get in shape, and then I could make money from it and then kind of live my life, like my dream life, that would be awesome. But what would happen? You know, back in my early 20s, I think this channel is almost 10 years old. And I started this channel when I like had the idea to create a fitness channel. I would just turn on the camera, get super insecure, super like, you know, fearful of what people were going to say. And then I was all like super awkward on camera, and I'm even still working on it now. And, you know, some of you guys who want to start a YouTube, just like I'm saying in this video, no one's coming to save you. So it's not until you look the lens or look the fear in the face and you just turn on the camera and you start going and you build off those repetitions and you keep doing it, that's when you'll realize like, oh, no one's just going to teach me how to be good on camera. No one's going to teach me this business idea. No one's going to do the research for me. Like, it's up to me. And so what I'm getting at is I was seeing all these people do it, but then I would try to turn on the camera. The videos would be really awful. I couldn't finish them. I was overthinking it. And another year goes by. I like tried again. And in the meantime, I'm like working a job I didn't want to be working, doing all these other things I didn't want to be doing, but I never let this dream die. It was always just kind of brewing. And that's the thing, man, is if you have that fire inside of you, and you guys that are still watching right now, you'll understand what I'm meaning. That fire inside of you is only going to get stronger. I heard someone say it kind of like, it's like the whisper of your soul, and as you get older, it just gets louder. And so I remember one day, because I was in landscaping, like mowing commercial lawns, I got home and I was like, I'm doing this, dude. Like, other people are selling ebooks. I, know my training philosophy works and what I've learned over all these years lifting, and people are selling these products. I'd already got some of their ebooks, so I understood what they were doing in order to make that a business. And I sat down and literally just sat down on the computer right then and just made a decision. Started writing my ebook, finished it over a weekend. So I went from somebody who was, scared to turn on the camera, scared to make the videos, to starting to consistently make the videos because I kept showing up. I didn't let my dream die. And then when I understood that I wanted to launch my first product, had no idea how to do it, sat down and just did it. Reason I'm telling you guys this is because it's not going to be until you sit down and you stare the resistance in the face and you do it. And here's the thing. Back then, I would make some of the videos, but I didn't understand routine. I didn't understand dopamine. I didn't understand how, you have to create a strong daily non-negotiable list, or you'll get pulled back to your old self, because your old habits and your old self's always going to be there. And as soon as you slip up, as soon as you forget your vision, it'll pull you right back. So I finally started getting momentum with making videos. This is probably 5 or 6 years ago. And, I launched my ebook. It was getting a couple sales here and there, nothing crazy, but it was cool because I was working a job and then I was making money from my passion. Then what happened? I fell back into my old traps because I didn't have a system. I didn't have a routine. I would go to make videos right on the spot, oh, what video do I make today? And then I couldn't think of anything. Or I'd make the video and then there'd be no planning, so it'd be a shit video. And then I just slowly kind of pulled away. And what did I do? I did all my old habits. Video games, watching Netflix, staying up scrolling, wasting time. And the thing about it, dude, is these years just keep going by. And I'm telling you, the pain, it gets so intense that it'll resurface. And then you're like, dude, if I would have just spent those, that many years that I just wasted, if I would have just stayed consistent, imagine where I would be. And so, I told you guys kind of that early story of me working this job that I didn't want to be in, and then me trying to pursue my passion. And so a couple years go by, and then I look around and I'm like, I'm living in this older place that I truly didn't want to be living in. I was kind of ashamed of it. Now I look back and I'm just grateful that I even had that. My brain and my outlook on life was so skewed for materialism that I didn't realize just having a roof over my head that I could afford was a blessing. But I had this drive to want to buy my first home and get out of this old, duplex I was renting. I wanted to build my social circle because I was kind of isolated and introverted. I wanted to become, a better version of myself. I wanted to become better. And I looked around at my life and I was like, dude, I wake up, I go work 10-hour days out in the sun, You know, I got headphones on and I'm on a mower, and, you know, I got a couple guys on my crew that I work with, and then I go home, I play video games, and I do nothing else. And I'm like, what has my life came to? Like, is this all it is? And then I heard from a guy named Brian Tracy. It was his book called Goals. And he also had this quote that, you know, if it's to be, it was up to me. And he told a story in that book about, you know, he was sitting at his kitchen table and he just had this like epiphany that no one was coming to save him. And I had that same epiphany. I'm looking around at my life. You know, I'd already tried my goals. I'd already tried different things, and no one's coming to save me. I'm like, dude, if I don't make something happen, if I don't get over my social anxiety, if I don't start facing my fears, if I don't start going after what I wanted, because like I told you guys, I used to be really motivated by materialism. I'm like, oh, I need to get a nicer house. I need to get a nicer car. I need to get more money. And I don't know what that was for. You know, I don't know if it was like deep-seated insecurity. No idea. I just know that I had this negative fuel that I was going to use to push me towards those goals. Because the truth is, the more money you have, the more freedom you have. And once you get the money though, and you get the things, you will notice that you still kind of feel empty. And that's where you have to do deeper soul searching. That's where I found Jesus. That's where I found God. And now I feel whole and full. It's not to say that you don't still have a mission you're going after, because in everyday life you need a mission. Because if you don't have a mission, you're stagnant. And Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot, but you'll essentially just go backwards. Like, we got to have this uphill battle we're fighting, no matter if it's building your finances for a good reason to provide for your family, or, you know, get your mom out of a job, or whatever you're doing. We need a mission to shoot for. And so, you know, I'm in that duplex and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, no one's coming to save me. If I don't make this happen, what is my life going to look like? So I had that negative fuel that I used to then push me. And so in the company that I was working at, there was a lot of talks of like promotions, because I showed up to work. I was never late. I worked Saturdays. I worked Sundays for this company. I never missed a single day of work. Had integrity at work. I did my best. And like, you guys that might not be super educated or have all these like accolades to your name and stuff, it's like, if you just try to be the best person you can be and work as hard as you can be and show up and be on time and be presentable and respectful, and like, watch your tongue, watch your words, watch what you're saying, and just be like a light in the world, in a world of darkness. I say that a lot, like when I think about my overall mission in a world full of such evil now. It's like, just be a light. If you can be a light, even if you're working in a fast food restaurant, even if you're working some like low tier job and you have no idea what you're doing, if you just become a better person and you try to show up with integrity, you will stand out over so many people. And so promotions started kind of getting offered to me, like, hey Eric, have you ever thought about being a manager? Have you ever thought about being in sales or these other things? And I don't even remember the excuses I was making. I think I was like, well, like, I don't know if I'd want to drive that far, because the office was like 35 minutes away. They're like, oh, well, you'd have a company vehicle, so you wouldn't pay for your fuel or anything. And I just had all these excuses for about a year or two that, you know, I wouldn't take action because I was fearful. I had social anxiety. I didn't want to go in these meetings. I didn't want to go present in front of all these people. Like, there were so many of these things holding me back. But I'm telling you guys right now, whatever those things are for you, and your soul's on fire with wanting to, you know, find purpose, if you do not face those, your days and that pain of regret will get so strong that, like, that's what'll happen, is it'll get so strong that you'll eventually be forced to move. So you can kind of like be relaxed in a little bit to know that if you don't know what you're doing right now, but you have that fire inside of you, eventually, it might be years from now, but eventually you'll be in so much pain, it'll push you forward. So I say all that to say, because I believe I've been ranting for like 15 minutes. I don't want to make this video too long, but sometimes on these talks, I have to go deep in order for them to actually resonate. But you're going to want to understand that you have to face the resistance. And once I did that, even though I had this goal to become this fitness person and, you know, make an online business and all this, I didn't know how to do it. But I knew that I didn't want my life to keep essentially like rotting away. I didn't want to continue being that old version of myself. even though I was passionate and wanted to like make my own business, I still understood that like I need to pick something and get really good at it. So like maybe it's a career you don't see yourself being in forever. Landscaping definitely wasn't my dream job, but I just knew if I can't make it happen with fitness now, I have to pick something and get super good at it. And then I'll continue to try to pursue my passion on the side. So I finally just said yes to the promotions, and it was super uncomfortable. The interview was uncomfortable, all of those things. But then I fast forward 5 years now. Back then I was making like $12 to $15 an hour. When I quit my management job that I just quit a couple months back to pursue this full time, I was making six figures, guys, like over six figures from a sales role. And I don't say this to brag, because I honestly feel like I'm just like a pretty relatable dude. Like I said, when I'm having free time, it's like I get outside, my girl and I, we take our like bikes and go cycling or go on some trails. We go out to the beach, we hang out with our dogs. Like I get out in nature. I'm just pretty simple guy. It's like I didn't have any crazy accolades or anything. I just faced the resistance and understood that like this is the barrier that I have to jump over, and I got to figure out how to get over that wall. So I faced it, and I went from being this socially anxious dude making $12 an hour to then progressively growing in this company to where they moved me out to where I'm living now in Florida, which was a dream of mine to be at. I've got a house now. I've got my dream girl, my dogs. Like the vision and the dream that I had 3 to 5 years ago, probably like 5 years ago that I like wrote down, it's now here. But the truth is no one did that for me. Like I had to take action. I had to get over the fear. And if you guys have fear right now, just understand, if you don't face it, you're just going to cause yourself more pain. So the only way to get to it is just going straight through it. So I feel like I'm a little rusty, man. It's been a couple of weeks since I've uploaded. I was actually kind of anxious turning on the camera, but me and my girl are about to go get a workout. The takeaway of this video was, I was this kind of shell of a man, or shell of who I knew I could be. I had this deep-seated desire deep down that I could be better, that I could pursue different things. I finally took action. I took the next step that I could see, which was getting promoted in my job to make more money, because that money I was able to save and invest it to give me the opportunity to be able to quit and go all in on a passion like this. But while I had that job, I was slowly building over the years to be able to do this. So it's not an overnight thing, but understand the time is going to pass anyway. So get after your goals. Happy Sunday to you guys. I'll have this video uploaded here in a couple hours, so you should see it on a Sunday. But just speaking from the heart, man, I'm channeling what God, Jesus, my Savior, wants me to tell you guys. That's all I do on this channel, is I'm just trying to be a beacon of light. So I appreciate you guys watching. Talk to y'all on the next one. Peace.